Hey, I'm Arvelyn Lewis and I sell real estate. Today, I just want to give you an update on what's going on in real estate. And though I represent the metro Atlanta area at large, this is kind of going to be a blanket what's kind of going on around the United States because we do have the same Federal Reserve, which offers the same interest rate throughout the United States. So it's going to be kind of blanket, but I am going to be speaking on some things specifically to Metro Atlanta. So, and there's a lot of noise around because I'm in the office that has a street presence. So people are walking by and the school buses are going by and lots of noise. So pardon the noise and try to just listen to me. But the interest rate or the surge that we had over the last 2.5 years, where people were really rushing and aggressively trying to buy up the real estate and giving away their children and the children's scholarship money and all that stuff. Well, that's not really where we are so much anymore. It's kind of slowed down a little bit from that. And that is because the interest rates dropped, or I'm sorry, the interest rates increased. They went up a bit, and that caused a lot of people to fall out of the urgency to get a home because they couldn't really afford it anymore. When the interest rates dropped like way down to 2%, a lot of people who were not really even thinking about getting a house all of a sudden were rushing urgently getting a house because they could afford more house with less money. So when that turned back around and now we're looking at a more normal 5%, 6% interest rate for some are still are getting 4. A lot of people fell away, and it's not nearly as much urgency. However, we do still have a severely short amount of inventory. So it's a matter of supply and demand. We've got a lot of people trying to buy, but not nearly as many people can afford to. So the demand is not as high as it was 2 months ago. Make sense? Okay. So the supply and demand is what's driving the prices and causing the urgency to shift, wane, and kind of slow down so much. It's not way up here, it's more kind of, it's leveling off a bit. It's still leveling off. Yeah. So that's what's going on in terms of the urgency and the supply and demand. It's still very short inventory, so the prices are still relatively high. That's not going to change, but we don't have as many people in the multiple offer situations, so it's kind of easier than it was 2 months ago. Great time to buy. Great. Listen, it's always a great time to buy real estate because you're always going to win with real estate. But you say, Evelyn, 2 or 3, those years ago, 11, 12 years ago, you still remember it. I know. But if you had just held on to it instead of walking away from it, right now you'd be making that money. You'd be making that money. So it's just like in the stock market. If you hold it, don't let go of it, you'll make your money. So real estate is always a great investment. So back to my update. We're still okay, we're going to do this again. We're still experiencing low inventory, so that makes it a seller's market. Now, in June of 2021, we sold just over 7,000 units. So single family homes, condos, townhouses, just over 7,000. But for this year, we have just under 6,000. So same time period, there's over 7,000 for 2021 and under 6,000 for this year. And again, that's largely and completely because we didn't have anything to sell. There was nothing out there. So supply and demand, it's a seller's market. And if we don't have anything to sell, there's nothing to sell. In 2021 of July, the median sales price was $349,000. $349,000. So a year ago, 349. But this year for July, the median or average sales price was 403. So there you have it, folks. The prices are still going up. Don't know who told you they were coming down or they were subject to come down, but they are still increasing. At this point, though, not as rapidly because again, we don't have people giving away their student loans and their kids and the left arm to get the house because the interest rates went up. Let's see what else we've got here. I'm looking at my notes. We had 9,789 new listings this time last year. But for this year, we now have 9,289. So again, if we've got nothing to sell, we can't sell it. Selling less this year only because we didn't have anything to sell. So that being said, let's talk about what's driving the mortgage rates and prospective buyers. Now, if the mortgage rates are higher, then of course we're going to have fewer buyers to work with. Excuse me. And then the buyers that we do have that we're working with, they're still kind of leaning toward being slightly picky, hoping for exactly all the details that they want. Some are still remembering that no, there was a crash and the house values are only so much when they're really this much, and that's not changing. So the expectation of the buyer is still, really big when what they're getting is not meeting that. So a lot of buyers are kind of like on the fence and waiting for the market to crash and waiting for something that isn't going to happen. So I just want to encourage you, if you're thinking about buying, if you have been approved to buy, go out there and buy because the market is constantly changing as it always does. And if you wait, then the same thing that happened to people that waited last year, they're met with higher prices, higher interest rates. And that's probably what's going to happen if you wait until next year. Let's see what else I want to say. If you're still listening, I hope you are. There is Loganville, Georgia, here in this metro Atlanta area. It's one of the most desirable areas in the country. That's because the lots are large, the homes or the square footage of the homes pretty large, and the prices are competitive. You will not at all get anything as large as you can get in Loganville in Atlanta proper, Fulton County. It's not going to happen. No, not for the amount of money that you can get it. Brand new houses. I looked at a community yesterday. You can still get it in the 400s. High 400, but 400 all the same. So consider Loganville, Georgia. There's a lot to look at there. Now, let me talk a little bit about foreclosures. I did note with some of my clients or some of my investors, there's kind of a lot coming up for this next month on the first Tuesday. There'll probably be a lot more than what was available last. That's because some of you guys or some of your friends, not y'all, some of your friends, people that some of your neighbors, they're not speaking up, they're not raising their hand, they're just kind of hoping that Jesus will come and save the day. Well, if you're hearing me and you know someone who's not been working for a long time and you're kind of wondering what's going on over there, maybe you can bring up that there's no law that says that you can go to the court and discuss with the judge about foreclosure. They're just going to do it. So contact a realtor because you can sell the house. There's a lot of value. There's a lot of money. If you just go ahead and sell the house instead of waiting for Jesus. Listen, this is Jesus talking. Just sell the house. In just the last year alone, the home values have increased by more than 20%. So if you know someone that's holding on to a house and hoping for a job and they haven't had a job in a year, tell them they need to sell that house. Yeah, tell them to sell the house because that's going to get them money. And if they lose it, it's going to cause them a lot of depression. And, sometimes people, when they get depressed, they kill themselves. That's not a good thing. So Bring it up. Don't tell them I said so, but bring it up. And yes, I do help people who are in those situations who need to hurry up and sell the house. The banks will, if you get a real buyer in there, the banks will get that loan closed in 10 to 30 days. One more thing I wanted to share with you as an update. Zillow did shutter its home buying doors, so they don't go out and buy your house anymore because they weren't really doing so well with that. And then there's also Open Door. I know you've heard of that company as well. They have been fined $62 million because they were not being straightforward, open, and honest with consumers about the value of their homes. They were underbidding or underquoting, understating the value of the consumer's home. They would buy it and then turn around and sell it for lots and lots of dollars more. Sometimes they put in some new carpet, sometimes they didn't, but they have been fined. So that's some information for you. You can look it up. I'm not making it up. Find that information yourself, because as I've told you before on previous updates, those things, they're not that great. Those guaranteed offers, they're not that great. I hate for you to lose money to a guaranteed offer, because the reason that you buy a house, it's so that you can make money. It's an investment that when you leave it, you make money, right? I'm Marvelyn Lewis. I sell real estate, and I would love to help you with buying or selling. And by the way, if you're listening to this is your first time here, click that subscribe button. I'd love to talk to you on a regular basis. Tell me what you want me to tell you about, because I'm here for you. I'm Marvelyn Lewis. I sell real estate. Take care.